Hey guys, this is RuffStuff podcast number 1. My name is Garett, and I am the RuffStuff Specialties CEO. In this podcast, we wanted to talk about the origins of RuffStuff, how it began, where the name came from, who started it, and when, etc. So we're going to introduce ourselves.
My name is Zack, and I am the president here at RuffStuff Specialties.
My name's Dan, and nowadays I'm the chairman of the board at RuffStuff.
My name is Mallory. I am RuffStuff CFO. So first, we kind of wanted to get into why you started RuffStuff. Dan, can you tell us a little bit about how it got started, where the name came from, and how we got to where we are today?
It was a dark and stormy night.
I knew you were going to say that.
It was 1981, maybe 82, and we were building or getting ready to start a company to build custom mountain bicycle frames, mountain bikes, right at the start of them. And there were 4 or 5 of us talking about it, and good name, and RuffStuff Specialties came up. And I copyrighted it, and we became RuffStuff Specialties, and we built 27 bikes, and then I got a job as a river guide in the Grand Canyon and quit building bikes.
How many people started with you doing the mountain bike thing?
Kevin Craig, one person.
Oh, just one other?
Yeah, he did most of the, well, you want to call it welding, but it's Philip brazing back then.
What did you do?
More of the...
I did machining and filing and marketing.
Gotcha.
And planning. It was my design.
How'd you guys take orders?
On the phone. We advertised in the back of bicycling magazines.
See, back then there was no internet, so...
There was no internet. The computers were
Dark
rocks.
Ages.
Yeah, we took things Morse code and smoke signals and things like that.
And then you said river guide, right?
Yeah, I was...
When was that?
I started in 83, and I did it until 94, so 11 years. Yeah, all of it in the Grand Canyon. My last 6 trips, I was a river ranger in the Grand Canyon, which was kind of fun. I got to wear the Smokey the Bear hat, and I don't know, it was a life. It was a good, fun life. It was actually a great single person's life. And then I met Zachary here's mother on a river trip, and things progressed, and I didn't want to miss Zack growing up, so I became a stockbroker.
Because you were living...
I was living in Flagstaff, Arizona, and she was from Sacramento.
So she was like a customer on a trip, or what do you call that?
She was a customer on the trip, paid to come down the Grand Canyon, and I was the trip leader. Okay, from there I became a stockbroker. I went to work for the Franklin Templeton Group.
What got you into that from being a river guide? That's so different.
Well, you're going to find if you go to a place like the Grand Canyon, well, first off, most of the guides in a place like that are older. They're more mature. I was neither. I was not older or mature. But they're older and more mature and usually college educated. Very few of them don't have a degree. I had a degree in economics and marketing. And I was a little bit off in the corner from most river guides where they're like biology or geology, and I was economics. But they could talk to some passengers and I could talk to the rest. But anyway, so I went into something to use my previous economics degree, and that was the stock market. And I worked at the Franklin Templeton Group as a fund information officer for 3.5 years.
So you got your degree before your river guide and before RuffStuff, the mountain bike company then?
No, while I was with RuffStuff, the mountain bike company.
Oh,
I was
really?
still
Okay.
going to school at the same time.
You were living in Flagstaff at the time?
Yeah, well, I got out of the Army on January 15th, 1980. And I started college January 16th, 1980. And, most people going to college are really, let's just party and take as much time as possible before we have to get to real life.
You didn't do that?
No, I partied harder than they ever dreamed of, but I did a full-time every session of school, And I did both sessions of summer school and 2 classes each. And I graduated in 3.5 years to get out of there because I thought I was too old. I was 22 when I started, and they were all, 18 or 19 when they started. But anyway, so I was in Flagstaff, and then I became a Sacramento resident. And I left the Franklin Templeton group, went to Waterhouse Securities with promise of a big paycheck, and that never occurred. So I moved on to E-Trade, where a lot of the people I had previously worked with at Franklin had moved to. I moved into their trading department, though. I didn't do any of their customer service. I was actually the first person in the company to start directly in the trading department. And I was there for 11 years. And senior trader, it was interesting. I started RuffStuff, though, again, when, the company was moving to Chicago from Sacramento, the trading operations. And my son and I's mother weren't living together, but he lived here and I wasn't going to leave. So they went to Chicago and I stayed, but they gave me 9 months warning. And during that time, I learned everything there was to learn about four-wheel drive that I could find.
What prompted that? Another huge left turn. He's like river guide, E-Trade, off-road.
Well, I had bought a 67 or a 74? Yeah, 74 Land Cruiser.
72?
I think it's 74.
Yeah, it's pretty small, right?
It was pretty small, 1 year before.
Pretty small.
Anyway, so Zack was like 7 or 8 years old. So we could have something to play with and work on and go out in the woods and have fun with. And I got to buying parts for it, and I'd call a company and they say, oh yeah, we make that. And the internet was really just getting going. And I'd get the part and holes weren't matching up, and it's like, well, the Land Cruiser frame is really particular in that it didn't change from 57 to 84. So I called the company. I said, why doesn't this fit? And they said, oh, you just take a die grinder. And I'd ask them, because they're laser cut parts, how long have you been making this part? And they said, oh, I don't know, 15 years. I said, in that 15 years, you couldn't find the time to move that hole, the 5 minutes it would have taken to make it right? And then go back to saying, oh, you just take a die grinder to it. And I said, okay. So I ordered another part from another company, and I got the same issue. And it's just that same answer. Just take a die grinder to it. And it's like, wait, hold on. It's really not too challenging to move that hole. If anyone knows laser cutting and manufacturing, it's programmed. It's not fresh every time. It's the same every time. You move that hole and it stays moved and it's perfect forever. So anyway, I was making parts, just little parts here and there to make it better. And then I wanted to do a link suspension. And there was an ad on Pirate 4x4, which is a big tech website, a forum. And it was from a company saying that, give us a call. We've got the answers. So I gave him a call, asked him about coilover shocks. And about a minute into this conversation with the guy, he really sarcastically asked me, so what do you know about coilover shocks? And I said, hold on. I said, you expect me to buy these from you after talking to me like that? And he said, oh, yeah, we're the cheapest. And I said, fine. I said, so this is what I'm going to do in my retirement. It's just like, I didn't like to be treated like an idiot.
Is that how you phrased it?
Pretty much. And, first 5 years, I'd send him an email every month thanking him. It's like, really, he's the one that created us for what we are today.
Was this like in 2004 or 5?
Yeah.
When you did that? Yeah.
Yeah, because we started in February 2006.
Yeah.
And how's that Land Cruiser today?
Well, it's in pieces out in front of the shop, but it looks good.
There's some pieces in the back, too.
Yeah, there's pieces spread out. Anyway, we got a bunch of Land Cruisers in pieces. I noticed we don't have one running.
But you got busy with a bigger goal.
Bigger goal, well, it kind of kept growing. back then we started off, it was just me and Zack after school packing boxes. We had a 1-car apartment garage that Land Cruiser was in, and a 12-foot whitewater boat, a dory. And we did it in the hallway of that apartment, a 2-bedroom apartment.
Living room machine shop.
More or less. But
Is there any other kind or?
Yeah.
but yeah, and that was our first place, and it was just he and I. And then we got an 8x8 spot in a 4-wheel drive company up in Grass Valley. Zack's mother lived in Grass Valley. That's where Zack lived. I worked in Sacramento and still lived there. And then we got a 14 by 12 room in another building. And it was still just Zack and I. And then I had a part-time kid after school. He was like 16 or something, going to Nevada Union High School. And then we just had to move. We had no room left. It was floor to ceiling parts.
Stacked.
A couple of drill presses in the corner and parts to the ceiling on all 4 walls. And remember, it's only a 12 by 14 room with probably less than a 7-foot ceiling. So we moved to Rancho Cordova.
And we went before you moved to Rancho. Weren't you you were in Orangeville in that apartment?
No, that's right. Excuse me. We moved back from Orangeville, or from Grass Valley to Orangeville.
Yeah.
But
And that was all within the first year, because I moved you out of the Orangeville apartment into Rancho Cordova when I first started. And that was
like the first week.
That was your it was like the first week. That's why we
Yeah.
were hired pretty much.
Was that an apartment shop?
It was an apartment shop, yeah.
Well, there was a lot of work
Nice
going on in
carpet.
the garage.
Nice carpet floors with
Piles of metal shavings.
Rust
rings?
rings, but in the shape of shock tabs, like tabs.
Did you get your deposit back?
No, I don't think so. Anyway, we went to 1,400 square feet, and that's when we hired Garett and someone else. And Zack were you in high school yet?
Would have been
I don't think so.
probably 2006, 2007.
No.
Yeah, right.
That was 2008.
Yeah, I wasn't even in high school yet.
Yeah. Anyway, we were in 1,400 square feet, and we had Garett and Jason. They were full-time employees. And, well, when we first started, we were very slow. You know, we were a very small company, growing like crazy. I answered every phone call. And Garett would pack boxes, and then on the side, when he had time, he would weld. And every afternoon, he'd ask me, "Can I go to the lake?" And it's like, no. You know, when somebody orders something, we want to ship it now.
I feel like if Garett asked you that now, you'd be like, I don't care.
Yeah. Now that's Dan. Dan's like, can I go fishing?
Can I go fishing?
Yeah.
No.
Mallory, you should talk. He wanted to take you to the lake.
I just wanted to go with my jet ski. I don't know if I even wanted to take her. Yeah.
There was only a one-person stand-up jet ski.
So
Okay.
He didn't need it.
Well, every afternoon,
Need to
I
weigh him
almost
down.
fired him, and I said, "No, go weld something, and just be there to pack a box when they called in an order." And we were doing about 15 or 20 orders a day, but we got them all done out every day, and it was a big deal.
I've heard this story a lot of times, so I'll explain it. The reason I wanted to leave was we would literally sit around for like hours sometimes, and I felt
Waiting for
I
an
felt
order?
so guilty, like because we'd be caught up. Yeah, we'd be caught up, and or I went, we would like put things on the shelves. We'd sit there and nothing to do and getting paid for it, and so it's like, hey,
Dan just wanted your company.
Yeah, I was paid. I
was lonely.
paid to hang out. But yeah, it was just like a guilty thing.
Was that the...
And I'm sure I slacked off too. I mean,
Well,
how old was I? I was probably like 19 or 20. So I'm sure I was slacking off.
About
here and
6
there,
months later, we got, 6 months after he started, we got busy enough that we needed him, everybody, every day, all day.
What was the nickname of that shop?
The cave
Cave.
is we had
'Cause it
built
was
shelves,
so
floor to ceiling.
dark.
Yeah,
too.
some OG customers will know.
And you had the...
yeah.
What, didn't
Yeah,
you
if
have
you
the
remember the
Ranger to the
Ranger
left?
days.
When you
Yeah.
walk in, there was a Ranger to the left. There was
Which
like
is
a
still
drill
out
press.
front.
Is it?
It's still out in that loading dock. Yeah. It's all
Didn't
covered.
we have
it's
that
the
say
same
45 too? Or 50? Yeah, we had a 45 in there.
What were they
The
stacked in front
No,
of
we
you?
had the Land Cruiser in there, the 40.
Yeah, I don't remember.
The 40 and a Ranger.
Then there was like a little plywood table with Dan's computer and
Oh, God. No,
No, that had
Right?
it was a Ken.
That was a later upgrade.
what was it at the
Kenworth or
time?
I don't know. It was a brown machinist toolbox.
Oh,
I had my
As a
computer
desk.
on that. That was my desk, and I sat on a milk crate. And we were getting busy. And
a guy who worked for E-Trade. That's where you went. Just sitting on
It
a
was a
milk
nice
crate.
toolbox too until I remember you told me like something fell from the ceiling or
Yes.
from the upper deck, right?
a
And landed
big
on it.
something and smashed the top of the toolbox.
And
At least
like
it wasn't
missed
your
your laptop
head.
by,
That's what
like, a
happens in the
half inch.
cave.
Like,
Yeah.
his laptop sitting on
that
this
would have put
toolbox.
us out of business then.
Yeah. And this
Well, think laptops were a lot then.
and the
Yeah.
whole top of the toolbox was dented so bad you could barely open the top drawer. That's how hard it hit.
It was probably like 900.
it was down about
it
an
a,
inch.
Was it a diff cover? Because they are.
no,
Beefy.
it was like
carry them
It was like a
upstairs.
cabinet or something crazy. But,
Cabinet.
yeah.
But that's when I met you, Mallory. You came in
Just to visit.
just to visit, but in pure white,
White jeans, white top, probably white shoes.
with her hands held closely to her side so she didn't touch any of the dirty steel that was everywhere. And
I remember what Garrett looked like when he came home from there.
I don't even know if we had a broom, to be honest. Like, you know,
those are all
I can't-
things you get as you grow.
I can't
You don't need
I
them.
can't remember ever cleaning like that. Maybe cleaning off our workspace.
Didn't you say Dan's coffee cup like constantly had a ring in the bottom
Oh
of
yeah,
it?
that thing. Yeah, it was
Just
just
the same
it was
coffee
it was
cup
a
every day?
refill only cup. Like it never.
Well, the hot coffee kind of cleans it off.
Sanitizes it. Totally.
Oh, and like the bathroom was
Well,
like.
the bathroom was rank. Anyway, that winter we were getting so busy, and I decided we're going to do an end-of-year clearance. And I was missing. I already had 2 phones, but
How many products were you carrying at that time?
we started with 40. We were probably up to about 55 or 60 by
End of
then.
the year clearance for 50 products.
Yeah, but we
Majority
had a
link
lot-
tabs.
We had a lot more than 50 items because we were the company that started. Back then, everyone else started and they'd take your order, then they'd build it. Mm-hmm. Where we stocked it on the shelves, so when you ordered it, we could ship it right out to you. So we might have had 50 or 60 products, but we had, 50 or 60 of each on the shelves. But anyway, we got so busy, and it's like I had a new phone already, a second phone, but I didn't have anyone to answer it. But Garett, I looked around, and he was like the only person I could have trusted to do it.
we only had 2 options. So
Well, I had
person
two
who was
options.
it's like me or Jason, so it's like yeah.
Garett had a better grasp with reality, so I told Garett, I gave him a phone. I said, "You're a salesman now."
Did you have 2 separate phone numbers for Rough
Yeah.
Stuff on
Yes.
the
Yeah,
website?
I
They
think
were
we
2
actually still
separate.
have that. It's like yeah.
Well, we still have one of those original phones.
Yeah, it's in Zack's
Yeah, I
office,
got it.
It's an
If
old
any
flip phone.
longtime customer can comment the old phone number, I would love to see it.
Yeah, it's the same
$100
number it
gift
is
card.
now.
The secondary phone number.
Oh, that I have no idea.
I want someone to comment
I
the secondary
know
phone
what it is.
number.
I know what it is.
Garrett will find it. If you can do it, I'll give you a $100 gift card.
But anyway, we only took PayPal back then. If someone wanted to send a check, they could, but we only took PayPal.
Send a check. Ooh.
We never had anyone
Occasionally
send
we
a
still
check.
get a check. No, occasionally we still will get a check with like a folded up paper that says what they want to order. From like the people who don't like the internet,
Yeah.
We'll still get one of those like every blue moon.
Internet can be scary.
It's like a check, and then it's like, please ship me. And they've called, they've gotten quoted on shipping every once in a while.
In all honesty, I was one of those people. I like to touch and feel things before I buy. That's why when someone calls us for a raffle, we don't send a gift certificate. We send a product so they can touch it and feel it and see what it's like and see the quality. Because that's the way I am.
Do you think those people that do that send Amazon a check? And Amazon's like, and they're like, please send me.
I don't know. We got like a ex-licensed NASDAQ trader sitting on milk crates, answering 2 flip phones at once.
No, I gave Garett a phone, and he got to sit behind me.
On
And
his
I
own
had the
milk
toolbox for my computer, so he had a computer on a milk crate sitting upright, the milk crate, and then he had one sitting down low so he could, type into it. So he had the 2 milk crates set up, which was really special.
Sounds very ergonomic.
I remember this is like one of the coolest things actually where I started on the phones with Dan and I didn't know, I knew the products finally because I was actually packing boxes for a while, but there was a customer that was pissed at me because I was just having trouble taking an order, finding stuff, like figuring out how to use the point of sale system on the site. And the guy was livid at me, so I told him I'll call him back or have Dan call him back. Dan called him back and chewed him out for being an ass.
Dan will still
for
do
being
that.
a jerk to me.
Yeah.
And he set him straight, and the guy apologized. It was legit. And
Well,
Dan's done that a few times. Actually,
yeah, I've seen Dan literally march into the post office.
Yeah.
Oh,
Throw a fit.
Explain
I've
to them
seen
their own guidelines.
Yeah, I've seen.
Yeah, I mean,
I've seen you throw a few fits.
a
And you
young
always
woman
win.
who worked for us went in on a Saturday to drop off like 40 boxes. And the supervisor on that Saturday says, "You can't do that. We can't take those." You know, and she made her cry, and she came back with the same boxes crying. I grabbed the post office regulations, downloaded them off the website, and went back to the post office, and in front of the 20 customers in line, I bitched her up and down the street because it was just like bullshit. She just didn't want to do her job.
I think it was because like the zip code, like we had like Loomis zip code on there, but we were trying to ship through Rockland or something, or like
which means nothing. It's
I think
post office is a post office.
I think because they closed like an hour later, but they were just
Yeah.
being stingy because
Lazy,
they don't get the
probably.
revenue. The revenue, yeah,
it goes to the
it goes
local post
to
office.
whatever zip code you have listed.
I think maybe 6 months after I'd started, one of our vendors said something rude to someone who went and picked up product. And you and I had like an insurance meeting at like 2:00, and it's like 1:55, and I see you just blow past me, and I'm like, "We have a meeting," and you're like, "I gotta handle something. I'll be right back." You get in your truck and drive off, and I'm like, "Who knows where Dan went?" And they were like, "He went to go yell at a vendor. He'll be back." So the insurance guy shows up, and I'm like, "Yeah, the owner had to go yell at someone, but he will be right back."
And you should insure us.
Yes.
I bet you he gave us a good
yeah,
rate
you
after
better
that.
treat us right too. Yeah.
But anyway, that was about 2008. And then, when did you graduate high school, Zach? Zach was still working on weekends and all summer packing boxes.
2011 is when I graduated high school.
Okay, so around 2011, Zack came on full time. Mallory, when did you start? full-time?
End of 2011.
Okay. And Mallory started in 2011. By then, how many employees did we have?
About 6. Lewis had just started before me, so there was
And
Ramsey
Steven
and
started
Lewis
just
in
after
the
you?
sales office. Yeah, and then there was you and I think Rich Welding. There was a couple, maybe 2 people in the shipping department. That was about it.
I think was Andrew there yet?
Not
Yeah.
yet.
No?
I don't
Oh,
think
soon
so.
after?
No, I don't. He hadn't even graduated yet. Cause,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
But anyway,
it's about 6 or 7 people.
6 or 7 people. And so
And that was in Loomis because you guys moved to Loomis.
yeah, that's when we first moved over here.
Yeah, we moved over to the old to the original sweatshirt
Yeah,
shop
that
where I used
was
to work.
4,900 square feet. We went from 1,400 to 4,900.
the one on the right with the
Yes.
with the spiral staircase office.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
the loft. That was pretty cool.
Sketchy staircase.
Yeah.
It was fun.
It was loud.
It was all loud.
Then
Then
you
we
moved next door.
we had
to
the
it.
hot rod shop next door to us go out of business during the recession, which surprisingly, since we make parts for people to build their own stuff, they could no longer afford to bring it to a shop, and they started doing their own work. So the recession was actually great for us.
DIY definitely worked in our favor.
Yeah. But we moved next door to 6,500 square feet, I think. No, it was 6,500.
Before we opened the back part, it was
Because we did that. Then we
needed
Yeah, and then a
more
year
room.
later, we knocked a hole in the wall and took another
the shop
1,700, I
behind
think.
us.
something like that. Yeah, like 16,
So,
17.
and that was just the shipping department.
That was all inventory.
That was really
yeah.
cool. That was like a huge jump for us.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because it went from that kind of tunnel
Yes.
that just had stacks.
Tunnels and
Stuff.
caves are really big in our
So
history.
we had like, I think,
Windows, one door.
It pretty much had like
no
all
fire exits.
like the whole shop was like all of Dan's stuff.
yeah.
And
just
then
this
and then there was
crap.
like the shipping department. And the shipping department consisted of like maybe a third of like the whole warehouse, and like the rest
Yeah.
of it was like Dan's vehicles and I guess welding department. And
That was a
manufacturing.
really
trade
nice
items.
shipping warehouse because we had pallet racking and everything was organized, and there was a shipping table in the middle with paper and tape, and it wasn't just like, or it was
Wherever
chaos.
you could wrap it.
Yeah, it wasn't chaos. Nobody was working on tool tool
Well,
chest.
what were we up to there? Like a bunch of boxes today. We were busy for a small space.
We were definitely busy when I started.
Like 60, 70 boxes.
And a couple years later, you just kind of fell into running the shipping department, Zach.
That was after we went over here, though.
No, that was still over there.
No.
Wasn't it? Yeah, it was.
Agree to disagree.
All right. Anyway, we'd hired Dan, Zach's stepfather.
That was in the Switzer shop, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember him
Because
working
I
in the back of
remember
the machine.
he was the majority. He was in charge of moving the stuff over here to these buildings.
Trailer.
And he was moving while we were doing
That was
regular
such
operations.
a sketchy move too. I remember we were just getting like,
Oh my God.
we're like, there was this pallet rack. I'm like, yeah, we can just move it all at once instead of taking it down.
Oh, dumb
Did you
idea.
guys wrap it?
No, we
No,
just
I just picked up with a forklift.
yeah, we just picked it up with the forklift,
And
put it on the
set on the
trailer
trailer.
at full height, like it was like 12 feet tall. And
I
as
don't
we're driving,
remember that.
I'm like, as we're driving, like, oh shoot, there's power lines. Like, and so we just drove underneath them really slow, and then we barely cleared. Like,
Well, you were
We had to
going
go,
a
like,
half a
around the
mile.
corner,
It was like a
yeah.
half a mile. But coming up that hill on that Y by the gas station,
yeah, the Y, and right there, there's some cables that go over.
or as people in
across
the South
way.
call it, a dog leg.
a dog leg.
Go
yeah.
through the dog leg.
Yeah.
Well, we were not completely experienced at what we were doing at the time.
Moving.
That's one way to say it, yeah.
Everything has been a learning opportunity,
Yeah,
let's
we
say.
pretty much. I mean, we make mistakes.
Oh, we still make
constantly,
mistakes,
and
but you know, if you don't
yeah.
make mistakes, you're not trying.
I'd say in the Switzer shop though, things got really, really like consolidated and organized, and I feel like Rough Stuff kind of found its footing.
Yeah,
And
that's
Yeah.
where we like started. Like,
Definitely
okay,
started running compared to walking.
Yes, 1,000%. Like the shipping department started
Had
getting
more than one welder at a time.
Yeah.
Had managers.
We started making like
Not just
processes,
There's departments.
departments,
Yeah, there's
processes.
departments,
I think
yeah.
we even had meetings. We took our first Christmas photo,
Yeah.
but that was a really exciting time for
It wasn't.
everyone.
We moved over here. We got lots more racking, and I don't know. It was we moved from like 7,000 square feet or 8,000 square feet to about 9,500 with the big warehouse and the welding shop. Actually, it's about 12,000 with the welding shop and the little shop out front that Sam, Garett, and Mallory were in.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
Me too.
It was like a little portable.
it was about 1,200 square feet or 1,000.
I had my own right next to Garrett, and then Garrett had a shop in the back of his. That
Yeah,
Sam was in the
R&D.
shop.
Such a cool.
Yeah.
That's what, yeah. Well, I
That was
originally did
fun.
like the CAD, and then I had like a little shop in the back. Then I got inundated with other things we had to do here, and so we hired Sam. Actually, we had that kid Patrick before, and
He was like in high school.
yeah,
still.
and he just did some basic stuff, and I didn't even have the time to like really
his work.
manage him. So we're like, okay, we need someone that's like has a lot more experience, and that's when we came across Sam, and he kind of got us off to the next step even.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we really started to grow with employees.
I think probably by the time we left Switzer, we might have had 12, 14, close to.
I thought it was like 15 or more.
And
Even.
well, I said 14 if you
Oh, you
really
did?
want to.
Oh, yeah.
And then we came over here and we really skyrocketed to about 25 within probably our first
So
year
fast,
here, which
yeah.
was 2013.
We started
End of-
expanding
Here
a lot.
seven,
I think we
almost
moved
7 years
here
now.
September of 2013, and now we have 40. Nice, beautiful number.
Well, 40 is interesting when you look at. I like to measure a company not in pure dollars and cents. It's more like your satisfaction and employee satisfaction. It's like the four of you.
There's 3 of us.
You're right. Okay. The 3 of you. Zack had no choice, but you've been with almost 13 years now. Garett started in the end of the first year, so you've been here almost 12 years now. And Mallory, you've been here 8 years.
Yes, this will be my.
And then Lewis and Steven are still here, and they're in their 8th year. I like to see people who want to stay. Because, I mean, we don't starve people. We pay them a fair wage.
I think also
We try to make working conditions good.
we all had ice cream sandwiches today, so I'm not
That was
complaining.
All right.
I think
we
also
did that in the past too. I remember like
we did McFlurries for everyone.
Daniel always used to send us to that Taylor's down
And
the
get
street.
milkshakes.
Yeah,
And they'd take like 2 hours to get 20 milkshakes.
like the bacon milkshake.
I didn't try it. Oh, yeah. Ramsey got me one. I want to
That was
throw
me.
up. That was your idea?
Yeah, I took
Bastard bacon
So they
syrup.
had like at Taylor's they have like I don't know 50 to 100 different types of milkshakes. You can get whatever you want. And so Dan always wanted the what was
Chocolate or mint chocolate?
it? Mint chocolate chip. That's what it was. And
But he wouldn't get off his high knee to go get
no,
it.
he'd buy everyone shakes just to not have to
What's
go.
the phrase? You fly, I buy. I always say that.
Never heard that.
Well, the flavors are put in through like a syrup, and so I got him the mint chip, and then I asked the lady behind the counter. I said, "Hey, can you put just like a pump of bacon flavored in the straw?" It's like that first sip was just like bacon concentrate. And he took it. He took the first sip, and it was just like, like it was like literally like that reaction, and he's like just drooling and spitting.
You know when you're anticipating a delicious flavor.
Even when you do that, if
You
you
can
it was
just
like
your
over
mouth
100
starts
degrees inside.
salivating.
even if you anticipate like milk and you have water, you're like, oh my god, yeah. It was like his reaction was priceless. Like, but he was. So
I
mad.
really
Dan,
thought that was Ramsey, Gary.
Yeah, Dan hates being pranked, but it's
That's
also
why we
really
keep
funny.
doing
That's
it.
why we keep doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. It's like the shirts every year.
The birthday shirts.
And anyway, all right. So we came over here. About a year or two later, we rented these offices.
The upper office that we're in now.
So we moved out of the lower one and stuff.
Yeah, and there's like 3,500 square feet up here. 12 offices, maybe
I think
4,500.
it's like 4,000 or so. Yeah.
Anyway, and all those offices are filled.
People call it in the like a warehouse and holding department corporate.
Yeah.
They say that we have more pure air up here.
Tastes great.
At that same time, we started another company about 5 years ago now. Apex Brewing Supply. We make commercial brewing equipment. And that first order we got, and we stored it in the front of RuffStuff, and people would come in and say, wow. You know, it's like all that shiny
the hell
stainless
is
steel.
this?
Yeah, it was kind of a different mix. And we rented a building next door. And
Actually, just saw a picture of that on my phone.
uh-huh.
The one in the middle of the shipping department.
Yeah, like Joe. Yeah, with using our forklift, like in the middle of RuffStuff, like putting
We'll have to share that
putting an
photo.
Apex tank in a box.
This is like in the middle of a work day.
That
too.
was
Yeah.
really
I mean, it's
exciting, though.
people
When the first
packing
sample
boxes.
came, all of us were like, "Is this real?
Yeah.
Is this a real thing?"
It was,
It was a big
cool.
deal.
Well, I mean, you got to try. You got to reach out in all directions. But then they were building a new building for Apex, and they finally finished that, and it was 15,000 square feet across the parking lot. So we moved from there, and RuffStuff expanded into that other 7,500 square feet. And what is that now? It's
Receiving-
CNC stuff,
receiving big
It's got our
machines.
press brake. That was
And-
only about 2 years ago, right?
less than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, a year ago.
No, you're 9 months.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was about 2 years ago.
All right, about 2 years ago. I don't care.
When Apex moved?
Yeah, that was only a year ago.
Yeah, it wasn't that long. Because we bought the press brake in like 2017.
Oh, you're right. We were
Yeah.
renting out a section of it because
Yeah.
we've had the
Yeah,
press brake for
from
way longer than
Apex.
that. Yeah, we
Yeah.
were renting out a small section
Oh, that's
of
because
it.
that's about when we got the break. And then
Yeah.
Yeah, 2017.
didn't have the full
yeah.
building for a while.
Okay, we're rambling now. So, anyway, and now what are we at? How many employees? 40 to 43?
We're at about 40 right now.
Okay, Mallory would know. She writes the paychecks, although
I
she uses
handwrite
my
every one of
rubber
them.
stamp to sign them. I can't believe that years ago, Mallory got me to sign this paper so they would make a rubber stamp of my signature. And I haven't signed anything in years. Every once in a great while, she wants me to know of something, and she has me to actually sign something.
Fabulous. I never need you around.
Yeah, I kind of like that
You can
too.
go fishing as much as you want.
I go fishing a lot. 5 years ago, I had a heart attack, and
At work.
at work, after a big training thing,
And lots of pizza.
and lots of people.
Pizza.
Pizza, actually.
Lots of pizza.
Not
Yeah,
many
yeah,
people.
yeah.
A couple smokes.
Yeah.
A couple dozen smokes.
I saw Dan getting up and standing up a few times during the meeting, and I was like, that seems kind of weird. Like,
He loves
getting
to sit.
up. And then later in the day, the meeting ended, and he went down to his office, which was at the end of our hall now. And next to his office was Garett's office. And at the time, we'd just gotten a puppy, and I had the puppy in a crate in Garett's office. And I was like, okay, the meeting's over. I need to go check on my puppy, let it out to go to the bathroom. And I walked down. And when you walk down the hall, it's like a split view. You can see through the doorway of each office. And as I walked down the hall, I saw Dan sitting at his desk, really, really pale, and he took his hat off. And at the time, now he takes his hat off all the time, but at the time, Dan didn't really ever take his hat off. And he had it off sitting there, and he was just kind of like staring. And I was like, are you okay? And you're like, I'm fine. Can you get me an aspirin? And nobody asks for aspirin anymore. Like, there's ibuprofen, Tylenol, Elite. Nobody really asks for aspirin unless you're having a heart attack. And I looked you dead in the eye and I said, are you having a heart attack? And you said, no. And I said,
No,
why do you want aspirin? You said, I just like aspirin. And I said, oh my God, he's having a heart attack. I didn't say anything. I ran down the hall, stopped and told someone,
Me.
I think Dan's having a heart attack. And we called around to get aspirin without telling anyone. And it's like, who carries aspirin? I don't know.
I think Emily had aspirin.
Yeah. So Emily runs an aspirin up. And by then...
She brought 4.
By then... Well, I think you only need 1. I don't know.
No, he took 4.
By then, you were sitting in your recliner in your office. And I'd already told enough people that people were in there. And you were like, I'm fine. And you were clammy and pale. And I said, I'm calling 911. And you were like, don't call 911. I was like, okay, I'm not calling 911. And then I went down the hall and called 911. And they came out. And I mean, talk about being stubborn, because if we hadn't have called, it was a big deal then.
The guy wanted to cut my shirt off. And I told him, this is my favorite shirt. So he unbuttoned it.
The next day
that's
you
good.
went
I
in.
mean,
The next day you went
priorities,
in
right?
for a triple bypass, though, and it was. I mean, it makes you realize, like, don't be stubborn.
Yeah, technically you didn't make it because you died on the way in through the gates of the hospital.
You don't have to say it like that. He flatlined.
That was
is what we
just
call it.
as I rolled in the door of the hospital. So I made it to the hospital.
I thought it was
You,
in
like,
the ambulance.
made it within seconds.
Yeah. No,
That
I was
was
out of the
scary.
ambulance. I do remember that part. That's when he wanted to cut off my shirt. But anyway, while I was out, the state required that I be out for 90 days. I was in the hospital for 3 or 4 days. I think I came in the day I got out of the hospital. But Zack and Mallory and Garett all... Okay. We're going to have to take a break. Sorry.
Is it that watery eye again?
Yes, it is.
Watering.
My eyes always water. Well, they stepped up and took charge. And I was overseeing a little bit. I did have the big oak paneled office in the corner. Although I came back after 3 months and they had done such a good job, I promoted Garett to the CEO from the president and Zack to the president from the marketing director. Zack had been doing marketing for about 3 years then. And I just went to the chairman of the board just to kind of do nothing and have fun.
So Zack was given 2 jobs.
Yeah, Zack
Yeah.
was the
He was
president.
still marketing director.
He is still
That's
marketing
true, huh?
director.
Yeah,
Yes, it is.
yeah, you were like
Technically.
Still on my
marketing
shoulder.
and
Technically.
El Presidente.
Yeah.
Stay busy. No days off.
Well, they both take a lot of time. And recently you hired 3 people in marketing plus you.
Plus me.
And Mallory's always done
Yeah,
Instagram and
Mallory's
Facebook. And a tremendous job on those too.
I've secretly been hiding behind our Instagram page, and now I'm out. Everybody, it was me. Every DM that was like, "Hey, man," I was
bruh.
"Hey, buddy," that was me.
You also did Instagram and Facebook for Apex for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Zack did a lot of the Facebook messages though, right?
Yeah, Zack did all
Yeah.
the Facebook messages. I pushed the Instagram posts to Facebook. Zack helped me with posts though, especially in the last year or two. Zack really helped me. At the beginning, it was just me, but doing the most of the posts, but Zack really helped me the last like 2 years take it to that next level, because it's a lot. It's a lot of maintenance.
And now you're pretty much a master mechanic. All you've learned about parts and how they go together and work.
I do know some things.
Yeah. But anyway, it's been, for me, they only really require me to come to board meetings, and then they wish I didn't show up, and go to events.
Like this morning, you're like, what time are these meetings now? They're like 8:30, and Steven's all 10:30, and I said 9:30 at the same time.
It started at 8:30.
Like we're all trying to like
Head him off.
fake them out.
Well, I have valid questions sometimes.
I know, we're just messing with you, yeah. But it's still funny.
I was wondering if Garett could tell us what our RuffStuff core values are. I want everybody to hear those.
Yes, yeah. So a few years back, we've always had these core values. Like Dan has implemented these core values
Verbally,
just throughout the company, and just by leading us. And so we decided to write them down, and we put them in the handbook. We post them around the warehouse and offices, and try and
That's what we live by.
and try and keep these examples. So the first one is just to be honest. It's just straightforward. Just be honest.
the golden rule.
So many companies in this business used to be just, you couldn't trust anything they said.
Yeah. That comes to admitting, your actions and shortcomings, whether it's just taking ownership and accountability.
Like admitting you're having a heart attack.
Yeah.
Full circle.
Well, you make a mistake. If you're the type that continues to insist you're right and everyone else is wrong, well, then you probably shouldn't run a company. Because, the part of owning a company and managing a company is to accept that other people can be smarter than you. And your goal is to find those people and put them in charge.
Yeah, that's how a company is ran. It's ran by the people.
For the people.
Yes.
To be fair, when Dan had to get his emergency gallbladder removed, he thought he was having a heart attack that time, and he did go to the hospital on his own.
True.
Nice.
Although you didn't tell me
Snaps
for
for
like
Dan.
18 hours.
Well, it was 11 o'clock at night, and I went.
I
in.
know.
But
yeah,
it wasn't
11
it
o'clock
giving
at
you
night,
tightness.
Emergency surgery, no big deal.
They had
The fact that
surgery
he went-
at 1:45, and I came in at 9 a.m.
You called me in the morning like, well, don't freak out.
But the
I'm
fact
in
that
the
he went
hospital,
on his own.
and I've had a surgery.
Yeah, and I was
important
fine.
to listen to
I
your
was fine. I
body.
came to work the next day.
It did come to work the next day.
Yeah.
The second one is to stay positive. Motivate those around you. Be friendly to others, etc.
Treat people the way you want to be treated.
Yeah, and that's just being positive, because when you're negative, you're positive or negative. So
glass half full, glass half
positive is
empty.
gonna be way better at. Way
That
better
glass
outlook.
does look half full.
To be respectful, the golden rule. Do unto others, right? To stay optimistic.
That one can be tough.
Yeah, you can, and
You always work for the best, and that's your goal from the start. So you have to keep that outcome in mind.
just look for the positive outcome, even if the evidence points to the opposite. Because again, if it's kind of falls back to even being positive. Because if you have a non-optimistic attitude, you're going to be kind of negative.
Well,
generally, so
there's one really good example of how these kind of all fall together is back when JD wrecked the truck.
He didn't wreck it.
He wrecked it pretty
Let's
bad.
back that up.
This is my favorite
It
truck.
was a boo-boo.
yeah.
He went and picked up tubing.
He tied it to the contractor rack, which is what he should
Well,
have
no,
done.
he didn't tie it. That's the thing. He was
How
trying
did he
to
drive here with it then?
No.
Oh, it happened.
It was
in
after the fact.
As he was leaving. Oh, no, he didn't even leave. He was just getting out
No,
of the
he
way.
was being polite to another truck behind him. And he starts to back up the truck, and everyone's waving, don't do that, don't do that. And he goes, because the tubing, they don't want it to rust. It's oiled. It's slippery as hell. And it's just sitting on the rack, and it slid off and bashed the front end of the truck and the right front fender, and it bent the door because the mirrors are so strong on those Dodges. It landed on the mirror, and the mirror just bent, pulling the whole door with it.
Dan loves his Dodges.
I know. Yeah, I didn't realize that.
That was
didn't
a
the
great
mirror.
truck.
I thought it was just
I thought
the
the door was
I thought it was
open.
just the door.
Yeah.
No, it landed on the mirror and twisted the door. as
Yeah,
the
but I
mirror
didn't realize it damaged the fender too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the right front fender and the hood.
I didn't remember the hood either.
But anyway, he said, I didn't want to come back. I thought I was going to get fired. And it's like,
Oh yeah, I remember
You know,
that. He was super nervous.
you're never going to do that again.
Accidents
And
happen.
everybody learned from that.
Tie your tube down.
Yeah, and it's just like, shit happens. Get on with your life. And if someone was to fire you for something like that, they're not a very big person. I wouldn't want to work for him in the first place.
He wasn't a repeat offender.
And the next one is be reliable. If you've committed to someone, be accountable, be dependable,
Yep.
be trustworthy.
Yeah. I think all of those things are something everyone can live by.
For
You
any
just
job.
have to commit.
And the last one I have here is just straight up loyalty. Like, don't betray the person you respect or consider to be a friend. Really, just don't even like start a friendship for personal gain. Like, it's kind of like don't be selfish. Like, in that sense.
Is that why you didn't smile at people for a long time after they started?
No, that was actually so. Like, I've learned to be like stoic for certain reasons, because I used to be super friendly when I worked at Sterling Ironworks. So I worked at Sterling and did like the ornamental ironwork stuff. Mm-hmm. And I was like 18, and I was promoted to foreman. There was like 4 of us there, and once the other foreman was, I think he quit or got fired or something, and so I was essentially like the next guy in line, or he just put me in place. And I was super nice, and everyone would start taking advantage of me, and it was hard for me to know how to be confrontational, but like in a and be stern, because I was always super nice to everyone that came in. Then I realized if I just was like rude from the get-go or stoic, I was way easier for me to confront them and just be like, stop doing this, stop doing that. And now obviously that was like, I was a kid then, and now obviously I've found a balance to where I can be stoic but also be friendly and go talk to people, and then cut right back down the business when needed to be. Yeah, so I've learned how to like be professional, I guess.
Let me ask you, I've got you two across. We know what Mallory does. Mallory does everything here. Without Mallory, we would be in pieces in the gutter
Are you
somewhere.
going to be nervous when I leave for 6 weeks?
No. You'll be a phone call away.
I will be.
You'll be nervous? I was going to do 12 weeks maternity leave, but
You can
maybe
do as
I'll
much as you want.
I think I'm going to do 6 weeks. I
If you
can't leave
wanna-
Zack hanging.
If you want to do 12, that's fine.
I'll just strap my baby on my back.
Yeah.
Anyway, I wanted to ask Zack and Garett, what do you guys do here? What makes you different?
Do you want
in
me to answer
positions?
that?
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Oh, man. I got the weirdest job of anybody I know.
Zack leads the staff.
I was
do a
going to
lot
say
of
in
weird
short,
stuff.
it's just lead.
Zack leads
right?
the staff.
Yeah, it's
He
in-
helps with the day to
It's
day.
in like every direction, like whether like again falling back to what you said earlier about having good people, is Zack and I don't like, it's not us or like this company's gonna fall apart. It's like the entire
It's all us together.
the entire staff runs this company.
Yep.
And so Zack and I are here to make sure things fall in line and we have good leadership.
Zack solves the problems on a day-to-day basis. He crushes the issues.
Professional firefighter.
Yes.
Putting out lots of little fires.
That's kind of how his morning, he thinks his morning, he's like, oh, I'm going to get coffee. I'm going to go sit at my desk. And then he gets like 10 feet in the door and someone's like, hey, Zack,
Got Taylor at the front desk.
been waiting for you.
Gets me on the right path.
So yeah, in short, that's what I say we do.
Well, what do you do?
That's exactly what we do.
Garett overall directs the full direction of
Picture.
the company. So
Yeah.
Zack leads the day-to-day.
And
Garett
production.
definitely
Yeah.
helps.
Zack and I pretty much do the same thing, except for Zack's like an executor in that sense, where like, okay, something needs to happen, and Zack goes down there and takes care of it and communicates with the staff. And so we developed that chain of command to where we're not stepping on each other's toes. Like, I try not to go directly to the staff if it's not like, if
Same.
it's crucial. If it's something crucial, I go through Zack to
Same.
make sure they all go through the same person. Even like
Nobody wants 3 people coming at them for the same thing, when if we all go to Zack and make sure it's what Zack wants,
yeah.
then Zack will go because excuse me, he's already established that rapport with the staff, and they respect him and understand how the chain of command works. I'm sure when people see me in the warehouse, they duck. So they're like, if Mallory's down here, it's not for a good reason. And
so
that's
Zack-
not true.
So
no.
Zack and I really just like work out issues together. Zack is like Zack is
We
like
play
the
off each
executor.
other's strengths.
Yeah, we
There's
do.
a lot of stuff that I'm thoroughly way in over my head on. and need help with.
I think we
And
all
that's where
feel
you can
that
break
way.
it down into a regular, simple, basic, instructions or theory on something that makes it easy for me to put it to practice or to get, a staff member to put it into practice. Or
I
play
think the
ball.
nice thing about us is we all respect each other, so we look to each other. Though, I'm not Garett's boss, I can go to Garett and be like, hey, I need you to do this type thing. And we all have established this relationship where we're just here for the same common goal. And
Yeah,
it's not, it's
same
like, cool,
mission.
how can we all handle it?
Yeah.
No problem.
Yep, and that's kind of what I was gonna say too. Where like we can what Zach was saying, where we use each other's strengths and stuff, and also like when you're emotionally involved in something, whether it's like a employee issue or some kind of like
A big project,
big
or a
project,
product even.
So having a detached view from like one of our peers is very important to be sustainable. But
Anyway, do we have anything else we want to talk about today?
Yeah, I was hoping that Zach could explain a little bit about what we actually do day-to-day operations, what we manufacture.
Well, we,
Nobody knows what we make.
nobody really does because they don't see
We're a
the
front.
other side now. We manufacture some of the toughest off-road parts that money can buy and steel can be welded and fused to.
do we take Bitcoin?
Not yet.
No.
I hope not ever.
Monopoly money
I don't
doesn't
want
exist.
I don't want to get Dan started. Okay, Zach, keep going. Sorry.
Money's money, but anyway, we make the toughest off-road parts that you can use to build pretty much anything your off-road heart desires. And in-house, we manufacture as much as we possibly can. We got 40 employees. Gosh, about 9, 10 of them are
In the machine shop, welding shop.
machine welding. About that, maybe 12. I don't know, a lot of
Mm-hmm. I'd say
people in
about
there.
10. We got about 12 in the shipping.
Yeah, we got a
5
whole
in the
fleet of
sales.
welders. We got a big machine team, and they're busy all day making awesome parts. And then that gets over to the ship crew. Ship crew then processes it, gets it going, starts picking, getting orders on the table or on our conveyor belts to get to the table, and then gets them out the door at the end of the day. But it starts with our sales crew. They're the front lines that take the orders and make it happen, make the sweet deals, and get people's get their off-road dreams started.
Please be nice to them.
Please be nice sales guys.
Oh yeah, they're so hard to come by.
Yeah.
I mean, besides Garrett, it took us years to hire another one because
We can't just get some guy.
Joe Blow off the
Selling
street
cell
doesn't
phones.
know everything about every vehicle.
Also,
out there.
we have a different sales type.
It's not commission based.
It's more
We
like
don't
customer
push them.
service.
Yeah.
Like we have customer service.
We don't
reps.
push them to sell. We don't want them to.
We have to find people that are like interested in the builds and like
Yeah.
want to talk about what you're doing and what's going on, and that's how Dan's like trained all of us, and that's how we're gonna stay. 'Cause no one wants to be pushed to buy anything. Everyone hates that. Like
if you just look at our employees, almost everyone owns 1 or 2 or 3 off-road vehicles.
yeah, or is building something.
Or not even just off-road, but automotive in general. We got a lot of guys that are in street cars, things like that. Bikes even. Bikes are getting more and more popular at RuffStuff.
Also, all of our sales guys have been here minimum, I think, 2 years minimum.
Yeah.
And some of them have been here 5 years, 4 years.
Well, then we've got the ones that have moved up, like Garrett and Steven and Lewis.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all work in
They,
sales. Morgan worked in shipping for a long time, ran was it USPS side? Yeah, USPS side, and then transferred to sales, and
Now he does a sponsorship
runs
program.
a sponsorship program now.
He's killing it.
Yeah.
super busy.
The whole sales team, I mean, they
They're
do a great
go-getters.
job. Yeah. And they're masters at their craft. Pretty proud of them.
And we don't push sales.
Nope. We don't need
Pushy
to.
is wrong.
No, I push sales.
Well, only in the marketing side.
So, kind of something I want to lead into doing every episode is a new product feature. And I was hoping Zach could tell us a little bit about the Jeep Wrangler TJ-LJ RuffStuff front bumper.
It's a killer bumper. It's beefy. It's got technically you can get it without the option, but you should get it with the 1-inch D-ring clevis. It's huge. It's beefy. These things are welded on, and our lead welder, Daniel, actually does a plug weld on the inside as well. Make sure those things aren't going anywhere. It's a great recovery point. These things give you a great approach angle, and it's set up to accommodate, all your common, what was it, like 6,500 pound and up winches, all the way up to the big dog, like the
12,000 pounds.
Or even, the old Tough Stuff 4x4, 17,500. It's that same pattern. It fits all the big winches. It'll slingshot your Jeep Wrangler up a hill.
One of the real key things about it, though, is there's a lot of bumpers that are similar to it, but none of those are a 1/4 inch thick. They're all pretty show bumpers, where this one could actually take a hit.
Yeah, and that's the big difference, is that, you can build something that looks really cool, but if it's not actually able to take the heat and get beat on year after year, trip after trip, you're kind of just wasting money at that point.
So you can find this product on our website under new products, or if you go vehicle specific, you can find it under Jeep. It retails for $319.99, and if you use code RuffStuffPodcast, you can get 10% off. And the product code is R2438-A. So definitely check it out. It's been a hot seller. We hope to come out with more products like this in the future.
Yeah, we're looking to definitely expand in more bumpers. Got a Cherokee out back. Will be the next one.
Dan, do you want to read that review that's on our website?
First review.
We have a review, and which is a big deal because it just came out. Let's see. Ordered this bumper yesterday. Got it today. If you know Rough Stuff, you know their shipping is unmatched. This TJ bumper is a super sweet. The only thing I would have liked are D-ring mounts, but if I'm not mistaken, I read that there'll be an option in the near future. They're already an option. Yeah. They're available.
We beat you to it.
Yeah. Get one for yourself and support this awesome company. Rough Stuff for the win.
Thank you, George Morales in California. We appreciate your review.
Yeah.
Thanks, George.
So I also would like to feature an old product. I was wondering if Zack could talk to us a little bit about our pinion guards.
What's not to love about the Rough Stuff pinion guard?
How long have you been carrying this product? A really long
more
time.
Than 10 years.
Yeah, at least 10 years.
Yeah, I would say is in Rancho.
It was
we
one
started
of the,
with the 14 bolt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was one of the first vent products other than a diff cover, if I remember correctly. And one of the first products, like a diff cover, had multiple steps to it besides just cut or cut and bend, whatever. And they're made out of 3/8 steel, which is substantial to say the least. It's made to party. It's not just for show. It's not to look cool. It's not to just beat up on anything.
And we offer them for 14 bolts. We offer them
4 to 9 inch.
4 to 9 inch. You gotta get one for $60.
What's not to love?
It's ridiculous.
And, we can ship these things in a USPS medium, which makes them pretty dang cheap to get anywhere in the country.
Pretty cheap.
Oh, was it like $14-15 somewhere around there?
Something like that, yeah.
It's a good deal.
Protect your opinion.
Yeah.
All right. And a new product that we have in the works. I was hoping Garett could tell me about some rock sliders.
Ooh, rock sliders are going to be cool. So Dan always has gotten us in like the mindset of trying to make something new and unique, which definitely slows us down when it comes to new product stuff. But
you don't want to look like everyone else, and that's the way it is out there in the marketplace right now.
So it is. It can go. We go both. We always try and go the unique way first until it doesn't make sense, right? And so these rock sliders are pretty cool. They're universal because again we're like a DIY company, So. But they're like a candy cane kind of shape, or not the whole thing. I guess they're two pieces bent like a candy cane, and they slide together.
What are you thinking they'll retail for? Do you guys know yet?
I don't even know. Yeah, we're gonna stay competitive with everyone, but
yeah, it's not going to be some cheap Chinese imported price. It's going to be
made in America,
made American wage, because they're made by Americans for Americans.
Are they a product that can only come welded, or can you weld them yourself?
No, they're going to be unwelded. So they'll fit. I think why it's making them fit anything from like our F-350 Super Duty, crew cab long bed down to like a a Jeep, our Jeep TJ.
So you just cut off what you don't need.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And then you got an extra piece of tube to use down the line.
Totally.
always need.
All right, so stay tuned for those. We wanted to give an off-road tip of the week. So, Dan, would you mind reading our off-road tip of the week, please?
Well, this is a pretty simple one, and everyone, well, you may have not seen anyone doing it, or you may have wondered why they were doing it. But if you're winching something, always put a sweatshirt or a jacket or a floor mat over the line. Because if you snap that line without anything there, it's carrying a ton of energy with it. And it can, well, you talk about aircraft carrier landings taking someone's head off. It probably wouldn't do that with a winch line, but it could easily kill you.
I was just about to say that's
It could.
that's kind of yeah.
Yeah. But if you hang a sweatshirt or a jacket or a floor mat over it, it absorbs the energy and it just falls on the ground.
Yeah, and that is like a last resort if that's what you got. I mean, they got some great products out now.
Yeah, there are
that
some things
heavier.
that are specifically for it.
Yeah, you want something heavier, preferably.
Or the
something that-
synthetic lines too.
Yeah. Well, the synthetic lines still have energy. You still want to do that.
Do you remember the other day at home when you brought in the tape measure and it came really fast and it snapped your finger? That's a taste of the
I
winch
think
line.
everyone knows what that feels like.
Yeah. You looked over me and
especially
were like,
listeners.
You're just delicate, Gary.
Yeah, when it's like 16 feet out and it just comes in super fast and you just
smacks your little finger.
yeah.
Yeah, just like that.
I wanted to talk about an event that's coming up, and it's the 52nd annual Sierra Trek.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's the one where the three of us go.
yeah,
You should
this
come
year.
this year.
Well, I'm going to be pretty close to giving birth, so Garrett actually is not going to attend
I'm super
either.
bummed. I would
He has to
go,
be on
but
standby.
I'll be
Didn't
out.
someone tell
He
you
can
like
bring
a
the company
horror
helicopter.
story?
Yeah, Troy from Swag. Remember he said he missed his second.
Where
Oh,
was
yeah.
he? Was he at an event?
He was at an event, yeah. So he's like, do not,
Stay home.
be out.
Birth.
Yeah,
We'll be
out
on
of the-
standby in August. So, sorry guys. But Zack and Dan will be there. So this is at Meadow Lake, which is located in California's beautiful Tahoe National
At the
Forest.
top of Fordyce.
Yeah, it's the north side of the Fordyce Trail. It's personally my favorite event.
You can fish too.
I love Nevada County. It is a wonderful place.
He really does. He does.
The north high side of it, which is wonderful country to be in, and it's great. It's a Corva event, which is always great to be able to support our
And
four-wheel drive
Road.
community, the people that really make it happen.
I think Zach loves Nevada County like he loves America.
Yeah.
I do.
Like-
Those are two of my favorite things.
I can tell
they
like
go
your
hand in
tone,
hand.
the
I
tone of
know.
your voice gets like
His
super
passion
serious.
in
Yeah,
his
you're
eyes.
super passionate.
All
So-
my passion.
This event, it's a family-oriented event geared towards everything from stock 4x4s on guided historic and slightly challenging tours to fully built rock crawlers on Fordyce Creek Trail. I haven't personally been, but I know when Garrett went last year, they could not stop talking about how nice the staff were and who the entire Sierra Trek
The
event.
attendees even like just the people that go up there are just
Yeah.
good people and
Yeah.
it's a good event. It's
There
not
are
a bunch
some
of-
events we've gone to that can be really rowdy and things like that, which is, there's a time and a place and it's fun. But
It
this
can be
event,
fun, but
yeah, this event is, it's a beautiful area. We highly recommend you go.
And it's hot down here and it's beautiful
Yes,
up there. What is it,
gorgeous.
about 9,000 feet, 8,500?
I don't know
I don't
actually,
even-
but it's
I don't
warm
think
up
it's
there
that
too.
high,
Like
but
we
it
went,
is,
I went swimming last time.
much higher.
Yeah.
So you have to be a member of Cal 4-Wheel to attend this event. It's only $50 per year. So if you want to check it out, it's worth it to sign up. We will be out there with a booth. Zack and Dan will be camping, and we are also sponsoring the meal crew for one of the nights. So you'll see all of the Sierra Trek meal crew in a RuffStuff t-shirt.
The food's good and they do good portions too. Like you won't go to bed hungry.
Yeah. So check it out. If you want to go to cal4wheel.org/trek, you can find out more information on it. And that's August 8th through August 11th. So check it out.
Yeah, we'll be
That
there.
should be fun.
Come hang out.
Anything else you guys want to talk about before we end this one?
No, I don't think so. If you guys want to hear anything on a podcast on one of our podcasts, make sure you hit us up on social media.
Also, we have an email set up. It's podcast@RuffStuffSpecialties.com. We would love to hear topics you want to, us to cover, guests you guys would like us to have. We have some really cool guests lined up.
Or even questions that you may have about
questions,
rough stuff or
Q&A,
the industry, or
any new products.
Your wild build ideas, you want advice.
Or if you want to share some stories with us, we'd
or
love
somebody to talk you out of.
We'd love to share some of your guys' off-road stories.
Yeah.
We have some really cool guests lined up. So stay tuned.
Yeah,
Thank you for listening.